whatever had happened.
So sorry, just to clarify, so we were basically taking the techniques that we saw worked to turn devoted, patriotic, young U.S. soldiers into communist-believing, non-U.S. citizens. And we said, gosh, that's a pretty powerful tool. Let's learn how they did it.
Right. I mean, in part, it was seen as defensively necessary.
Right.
So we need to know how they did it, and we need to defend against it. So this is why there was a vast program in the military to create resistance, survival, evasion, resistance, and escape training, but to really add to the resistance part of it. And that's where they started systematically exposing troops or military personnel to the same brainwashing. When the press found out about it in the 50s, when something like 100,000 men ran through these early trainings, they said these were schools for sadists. They're actually, why do you need to subject people to this in order to understand how it works, or to prevent them, to protect them? But this was actually seen as a process of inoculation against a kind of the super weapon of mind control. At the same, so this is an ironic yet somewhat predictable response from the government to fund MK Ultra, and this was the purpose of MK Ultra, was to see how total can control become, and could you ultimately create something like a Manchurian Candidate? Could you have someone so abandon themselves that they would be actually an unrecognizable, new creation? And there were 143 sub-projects at least.
Yeah, they wanted to do
and some of them were run by psychiatrists. One of them was run by a psychiatrist named Louis Jolyon West, and he is connected to the case you mentioned of Leonard Kyle. Although not directly funded by MK Ultra, it was a case in which this kind of extreme form of behavioral control was, through psychosurgery, was pursued. And I hesitated to write about this for a long time because it disturbed me so much. And like you, that chapter made me cry. I mean, I spent a sabbatical year just sitting here with these materials. I've met two of his grandsons who didn't know he was their grandfather because he was hospitalized and he was seen as a raving madman. But in fact, his two doctors at Mass General Hospital, who were also affiliated with a Harvard unit for the study of violence, felt that he was a worthy recipient of this new technology, which was a brain implant.
Good, thank you. You are very, very welcome. Thank you. Page 168. Of God to the God of Charity. We'll start on 167 to begin at the beginning of the paragraph. I actually think I'm going to go back a few paragraphs on that page. Page 167. 166. We were in Nincpos, Ningpos. Nincpos? Is that where the term nincompoop comes from? We were in Ningpo's great fish shops. Ningpo is among the leading market cities for China's huge business in fish. There were tons and tons of the harvest of the sea, some of it curious creatures that I had never seen before. Octopuses, crabs, mollusks, and every kind are eaten in China. And, of course, one of the great dishes is the fin of the shark, which after many hours of cooking is really surprisingly good. This is Across the World, page 166, chapter Charity of God. Oh, 1929, I can't remember. '42, 1942. All right. China, of course, okay. Fin of the shark, many hours of cooking is really surprisingly good. The poor people eat the less dainty portions of the shark And the great sea eels. Nothing that an animal would eat is disdained by the vast horde of China's poor. There were the ice houses along the opposite river bank. About us were the tremendous whirl of buyers, sellers, workers, the noises of barter, the cacophony of bargaining and competition, the struggling load carriers. In these last, what hypnotic fascination. They shudder us, they shoulder us, warning us with their inarticulate cries, snorting desperately, gasping as if in anguish, but never with the whine that W-H-I-N-E, but never with the whine that seeks pity or calls for quarter. Their hot, heavy breath is on us. The reeking scent of their sweat-soaked garments rivals the odor of the market. The perspiration and beads and trickles on their viney foreheads and features glisten within arm's length of us. And, like Veronica by the path of Calvary, we should like to press a towel on the labored faces. Bishop Defebre, D-E-F-E-B-V-R-E, D-E-F-E-B-V-R-E, Defebre, placidly worked his way through the coolies. He was less disturbed than I, newcomer, by their sweat and the size of their burdens. They are tough, he said. They are made like rattan. They seldom give in, but they know what pain is. Do they pray to Kuan Yin? I asked. Ah, yes, she draws them like a lodestone. Brave though they are in their poverty and suffering, they feel the need for kindness. Some of them know our Catholic works, our asylums, hospitals, clinics, orphanages, and most of them have heard about them. They don't understand our motives yet. Some of them even believe that it is because we too are worshippers of Kuan Yin, but our mercy itself, that is a language that they understand. The Catholic works being all about schools, asylums, hospitals, orphanages. Thus, in the fish shops of Ningpo, with his story of Kuan Yin has a prelude. It was quite easy to understand the Church's dedication in China to Christian charity. All of us, if we are good Christians, practice charity for itself, and it has its own reward. But besides, it is a language. The thousands of priests, brothers, and particularly sisters who, from the Mongol steppes to the borders of Indochina, from the seacoast to the borders of Central Asia, give themselves selflessly to the needy and the suffering, are preaching a sermon. As Bishop Defebre explained, among the multitudes of China, it is the only sermon which many can understand. Chiefly among the Gentiles, wrote Pope Benedict, led by feeling more than reason, is preaching by deeds more efficient than by words. Are there scheming Chinese who take advantage of our mission charity to help along their family fortunes? Knowing individuals are wont to talk about rice Christians. Yeah, so many are mentioning this plays into levels of, say, charity. What are you equipped to help with? Levels of education mentality. Okay, so as far as, I think I get what you're saying. Okay, so as far as people that would work, like bedside manner, and this one is capable or has the qualifications to work with these sort of patients, levels of society, right? Like some don't want to work with below the middle class people. I understand. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. We've listened to a lot of their comments over the years. Yeah, ew, gross. And if you're going to expect me to do that, they need to pay us more. Yeah, I've heard a lot of that with different ones. So they try to keep those. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, well, then there's too the ones that would be more capable of working with those with mental disabilities. Yeah, over the years it seems like people have gotten confused with that, and it's turned into really strange kind of stuff going on, and the abuse. Yeah, that there's whole rabbit holes there. Yeah, what do you want to call them? Wormholes, whatever you want to call that. Sure. Right, so if you've been following along, you'd know my name is Mary. We're at the Governor Hill Mansion in Augusta, Maine. I have 4 children here. My youngest 2 are in the hands of very sick, mentally ill people next door. What's been going on here for years, and we've been explaining all of that. Okay? Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's hard to understand without sounding like a totally batshit crazy conspiracy theory person, but that is common for people that are surrounded by heavy drug traffickers, mentally ill people, abusers, murderers, yeah, drug trafficking, a lot of horrible stuff. The private investigator in 2009, yeah, he tried telling them. It's very sad and scary to us. And still to this day, what they say and stuff, it's, yeah, we start to lose our kind of space of, I don't know, we go blank, trying to understand people's rationality and what they're ignoring and paying attention to. It's hard to register. I've asked them myself. They laugh me off as though I'm jealous and they know what they're doing with. Yeah, it's scary because we know what they're doing, and it's disturbing, and we've been trying to tell them that. So we're concerned about the children. We've forgiven them for all of that stuff, even the doctors who vaccinated our children behind our back in 2013. After what we'd already been through, it takes my breath away. It's like, what are you thinking? That all you can do is love them and understand that they believed what they believe and were dangerous, horrible Karens, cartel family, drug addicts. Yeah, and they vaccinated our children behind our back with the help of the sicko that knew exactly what he was doing. 2013, what had happened the year before, and the year before that. So when you look at that time frame, 2010 to 2013, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. We didn't lose it and kill ourselves or someone else. Unfortunately, to have even a brief thought of, man, I wish I had, to avoid a lot of the pain and suffering that brings upon innocent children who can't talk. No, they cannot talk and tell you the abuse they are going through, okay? They have some words and they can mumble and hum, sing along to some songs. If you ask them a question and if they're being abused, can they respond to you? Right, they might be able to say certain sentences or repeated phrases and songs that they're, yeah, I know how that works. We've done this our whole lives, you know that? And our whole entire lives. We've never not done those things. Or been aware of those things, so to speak. As far as our conscious field of memory goes, Good, thank you. I hope so. I really hope so. So I'm not sure who the proper authorities would be. It's a lot of circumstantial stuff, and it's not as though you take them to court for the child abuse and all these things you can't prove or that is not really admissible or illegal. The vaccines, the stuff unseen that's circumstantial, the child abuse, the attempted murder. And the dog's leg definitely blew up, right? I definitely lost use of one arm for 3 months. The doctors tried to hook me to a computer. That's all documented, right? Said my nerve was barely shooting a 1. I may never get use of it back. It's all fine and dandy, right? Yeah, of course. Them vaccinating my children behind my back. Oh yes, very much so. And an outside source asked me, how are the kids doing with the vaccines? That's how I found out. And I said, what vaccines? And they said, did I just get Dad in trouble? I was like, no, but what vaccines? What are you talking about? Yeah, and then when you see, I have 4 children. Now my second son in 2009, I did not vaccinate him when he was born in August. I chose not to vaccinate him after what happened with my first child in 2006 when he was vaccine injured. And the Lyme specialist, Dr. Bernard Raxlin, and some other experts tried telling them. They told me, and I mentioned it to them. They got very upset, said they were charlatans and Lyme disease did not exist, and they vaccinated him and he lost his speech within a few weeks. Started spinning in a lot of circles, lining things up, non-stop. Woo! Yeah, those things, it can be called stimming, you know, if someone, they do the flapping or, you know, the ticks. Yeah, you don't hear that. Remember back in the 90s too, that was a popular diagnosis. What happened to breast cancer and Tourette's? It was pretty popular for a while. Yeah, so when you add all that, and I know everyone's mentioning those things too, the Main Parent Federation, them getting upset, we called them holy Hitlers. There's so many things. Yeah. As you can see, it's all just a bunch of ramble to help people understand maybe a series of events or history, people's awarenesses, legal, illegal things, trafficking. So sometimes when all those things are going on, some horrible things can happen and people take advantage of innocent people that are very vulnerable to some of those more extensive abuse studies. Yeah, so when everybody thinks they're doing good studies, experiments, helping get the care in, the non-vaxxer, protect the children, cartel family. It's insane. Absolutely insane. It makes me sick going back and watching it in slow motion, remembering the private investigator trying to tell them. He mentioned the Mayans. Why are they targeting the hippie tard? Yeah, well, they were pretty upset. That was around the time I did not vaccinate my second son, 2009. He shot himself September 28th, 2009. And I didn't vaccinate my second son in August of 2009. That was the month before he shot himself. And one of my brother's drug buddies bought this place, who also owns the Liberal Cup. And then a lot of the people that work for them were getting involved with the hazing, Tate, and stupid games. They were filming that movie, Message in a Bottle. They were doing some scenes here. Yeah, and then what's his name pissed off Lindsay Lohan on that show. And then he took off to California to make emojis or something. Sing some rap songs. I think, yeah, he did a song with Pitbull or something. Yeah, that's actually the father of my oldest two. That's his cousin. Yeah, he took off. That was right around 2008, 2009, all that stuff, yeah. Yeah, I think that was about the time they were doing those movie scenes here. Yeah, I think people just get caught up with a lot of the noise, playing their little revenge games, and a lot of that's just innocent stuff. And then things are going to happen in the mix. And unfortunately, my children are paying the price, and we're trying to help innocent children and people in the hands of these sickos. If you even understood the extent of some of the abuse they were going through and that we've already endured. So obviously a lot of people don't, and they're playing their games and tissue issues and protecting their drugs and nasty lifestyles. And it makes us sick. And we do hope they die in a bottomless pit of their own bullshit. Yeah, nail yourself to a fucking cross, you sick motherfuckers. Nasty, dirty cunts and drug addicts. And they act like they're so cool and astute and, oh my god. Nasty, really, really nasty people. You get a whole lot of it, don't you? They've toned it down, haven't they? I think they're realizing some of the stuff I've been saying is actually true. It's not all conspiracy with the vaccines and the concerns with SSRIs and the overprescribing and misdiagnoses and misconceptions with the Catholic religion and how that kind of all connects and intercedes with the funding companies and churches. Ukraine, Wuhan, Iran. You can go back, do it the other way too. There's different stuff, right? Like video games and magazines or something. Paramount, Disney, what's going on? I know. Well, you can only understand, man. People have pain, you know? I feel ya. I feel ya for sure. Oh, goodness. Good, thank you. I like these 4-core ones. 4-core. Remember the Jupiter ones when those first came out? I like that one a lot. That's the blue raz. That's good. Yes. Oh, nice. Look at that. Yeah, you want me to read that a little bit more? Hold on. I see that a lot of people are talking about that. Asylums, hospitals, clinics, orphanages, and most of them have heard about them. They don't understand our motives yet. Some of them even believe that it is because we too are worshippers of Kuan Yin, but our mercy itself, that is a language that they understand. Thus, in the fish shops of Ningpu, with Mr. He's story of Kuan Yin has a prelude, it was quite easy to understand the Church's dedication in China to Christian charity. All of us, if we are good Christians, practice charity for itself, and it has its own reward. But besides, it is a language. The thousands of priests, brothers, and particularly sisters, who, from the Mongol steppes to the borders of Indochina, from the seacoast to the borders of Central Asia, give themselves selflessly to the needy and the suffering, are preaching a sermon. Has Bishop de Fabry explained among the multitudes of China, it is the only sermon which many can understand. Chief among the Gentiles, wrote Pope Benedict, led by feeling more than reason, is preaching by deeds more efficient than by words. Are there scheming Chinese who take advantage of missions charities to help along their family fortunes? Knowing individuals are wont to talk about Reich Christians. Bishop Walls, formerly of Congamun, now Superior General of Mary Knoll, has an answer. Peter's net takes in all sorts of fishes, says Bishop Walls. There are these who come for rice and nothing more. Secondly, those who come to eat and remain to pray. Lastly, those who come for no material reason whatever. The majority of mission converts from the second category. The operation involved is precisely that performed so often by Christ himself in the lifetime he spent in doing all things well. If, on the other hand, there are some who fail to make the transition from the charity of God to the God of charity, it is a matter for surprise. When Christ healed 10 lepers, he had occasion shortly after to inquire, "Where are the 9? Sometimes the Catholic charity project in China is moderate and ambitious, such as St. Mary's Hospital in Shanghai. There are 500 beds, divided among 4 classes of patients. In the first category are private rooms for wealthy Chinese and for engineers, and for foreigners. Secondly, there are rooms with 2 or 3 beds. Thirdly, there are paying wards. Fourthly, there are the charity wards for a bed in which, when they can, the families of the patients are asked to give the equivalent of 15 cents a day. Once such projects are launched, they support themselves and accomplish good, much as do the hospitals of our sisters in the United States. Yet, since so much quackery is associated with medicine in China, the common people are apt to see no motive other than that of money-making whenever a fee is charged, no matter how reasonable or tiny the charge may be. The Church must go forward with its large, normally operated hospitals, but the smaller units probably make more impression in the religious sense. At Changchou on the Yellow River, I visited one such unit. There, a group of 3 hardy nuns had a great sacrifice set up 34 beds, and the bishop had engaged a youth Catholic Chinese doctor, a recent graduate from Aurora University, to carry an apostolate through his cures. In the East's great port cities, Western doctors have built a practice which provides them a livelihood and serves as a blessing for missioners and non-missioners who without them would have no qualified medical care. Besides these, 100 Catholic doctors have given themselves to a career of a different sort, have become missioners with the missioners. They penetrate inland and labor without fees or for subsistence wages, has attaches for the Catholic charity hospitals and dispensaries. There are also about 1,000 trained nurses, sisters, or laymen in the Church's Chinese missions. You're welcome. Page 168, we'll finish on there. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, we're going to finish listening to that. I don't know if it timed out, so I might have to go back into it. Oh yeah, I have to sign back in. Yeah, we did listen to, I think, most of that. Yeah, that was awesome.
Got safety protocols?
Jeez. Awesome. Yeah, we're here. Questions, comments, concerns, suggestions. If you have any idea who the proper authorities would be to kind of put all that evidence together, documented facts, and use their common sense, and then do what they can to get the children away from those people. We don't expect any arrests to be made, or we understand the circumstantial evidence, but there should be enough for whatever proper authorities that be in this world for serving humanity, to be able to put that evidence and documented facts together. Yeah, whether we're dead or alive or how crazy we are. Alright, thank you. This is the one I was using. I love this stuff. It's kind of pricey, but I think it's worth it. If you use a little bit, it lasts a while. We barely used a quarter of it, and we've had it for about a month. This was $20. It's lip treatment marine glycoproteins. This is cranberry, and it has lime in it too. Cranberry and lime. It's good. It's that Marin stuff. Yeah, it has a... Apply as needed throughout the day whenever lips need a boost of soothing hydration. Oh, it doesn't have the ingredients written on this. The marine glycoproteins, cranberry, and I think lime, there's lime in it, right? It's a lime soda or something. I threw the box away. Alright. Peace be with you, and also with you. Using this as a mirror.